Hello, I'm Michael.
I'm Sally, and this is Wrestle MSX.
After a quick recap of Clash at the Castle, we welcome back Seth Freakin Rollins. After the crowd have finished chanting his name, and with the Money in the Bank briefcases hanging above the ring, Seth remarks it's the fastest way to get a title shot. Damien Priest then makes his way out and welcomes Seth back. Seth says that both men have been in groups, both cashed in Money in the Bank, but he stood on his own. When will you? Seth taunted Priest. Priest then offered Rollins a shot at the title at Money in the Bank. Seth, of course, accepted. I mean, why would he not?
Exactly.
It's a no-brainer.
We then see a clip from earlier with Chad Gable asking Adam Pearce for a rematch with Zayn. No, back of the line for you, Pearce tells him. Okay, give me a match against someone worthy, Gable asks, and Pearce obliges.
The next match was Gable and his opponent, Braun Strowman. As hard as he tried, Gable couldn't do a thing to Strowman. Strowman winning with a power slam. After the match, Gable called for the Alpha Academy to come into the ring. And as he was giving Tozawa a dressing down, Maxxine Dupree stood between them. Gable took her crutch, threw it out the ring, and then referee style told her to get out of here. Gable then slapped Tozawa down to the mat, before Otis finally, it seems, snapped. He pushed Gable, who went flying back towards the turnbuckle. Chad looked shocked. But then that was it. Otis left with the rest of the team and just went back to the... I don't know if he's seen the light or what, but it's still up in the air about whether
like
he's...
the start of the
Yeah,
turn, but...
I suppose. Anyway, if you saw our Clash at the Castle prediction video, you know I won again and I'm still the champion. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's quite funny. We then go to the Judgment Day den and see Dom fanatically looking for his Cowvest. We then see Damien Priest asking Finn Balor why he took Liv Morgan's hotel room keycard last week. To protect Dom, Balor replied. Balor then said that if he wins Money in the Bank, he's going to cash it in on Cody Rhodes. Now I thought that you had to go for your own brand's champion.
I mean, obviously
so
not.
if Balor's obviously on Raw, surely he's got to go for Priest.
Wow.
If he wins. I mean, I don't know.
Up next, Iyo Sky versus Zelina Vega versus Kiana James in a triple threat qualifying match for Money in the Bank. It didn't get exciting until Liv Morgan came to ringside, wearing Dominic Mysterio's Cowvest. She distracted Vega enough for Iyo to hit the moonsault on James and pick up the win, progressing to the Money in the Bank match.
After a recap of what happened to Ricochet last week, being beaten by Bron Breakker, we have Sami Zayn heading out to the ring. He told us he's moving on from Chad Gable and that he's convinced that Otis and Alpha Academy will leave when they're ready, which felt a little like Sami was saying to us that they're going to break up when the storyline's finished, so just let it go. Because it's too much. Oh, they're going to break? Yeah, they'll break up eventually. Anyway, I got to look forward and defend my title against anybody and everybody, said Sami. So out walks Bron Breakker. I've left bodies in the ring, and you're next on the list. I'm taking that title, said Breakker. Like Jericho and the list, and Goldberg saying I'm next, so I'm putting them together. Jericho and Goldberg, Jeriberg. Yeah, it's going to catch on.
As Sami and Breakker square up, Sheamus enters the arena. You're just a kid, you get to the back of the line, he tells Bron. Then, as Sheamus and Bron square up to each other, Sami says he'll see if he can get a match between these two for later, and goes off to see Adam Pearce.
Up next, Dragon Lee versus Carlito. But just before that, we see Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark challenge Alba Fire and Isla Dawn for the women's tag belts. Baszler saying that the ref missed Cargill tapping out during their match at Clash at the Castle.
Back in the ring, and a sit-down powerbomb gets Lee a 2 count, before Morgan makes her way down to ringside yet again. She gets attacked by Zelina Vega. Then a backstabber on Lee by Carlito gets him the win, but only after interference by JD McDonough.
We then get a recap of CM Punk screwing over Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. Then flick to Drew walking through the outer parts of the stadium, presumably making his way to the ring. As we look at him though, we get a flicker and an image of what seems to be Uncle Howdy or one of his members. For a second I thought we was going to get another QR code. Oof, but thankfully, no more QR codes.
Back from the break, we see Otis packing his bags with Tozawa and Maxxine. He tells Chad he's done with Alpha Academy and they leave. As they go though, Gable shouts after them that he's massive. Alright Chad, no one likes to show off. And he's going to win Money in the Bank.
Drew McIntyre then heads out to the ring looking sombre. I can't do this anymore, he tells the crowd. Screw this company, I quit. After the break, we see what happened during said break and see Drew telling Triple H, who's in gorilla position, that he's serious. And I do like this storyline. It's the build-up, it's how many times Punk's screwed over McIntyre, the big characters. They don't necessarily need the belt to carry them. Mm-hmm. I do like...
Showing it's like really got to
him. And I mean, it's going to be massive. I don't know where the match will be, whether it's a big SummerSlam one or what, but it's going to be massive when they do fight.
So after that bombshell, we have Damage Control, Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane against Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. An insane elbow on Carter gets a 2 count, then out comes Lyra Valkyria. The distraction allows Carter and Chance to pull off the after party, with Chance getting the cover on Kai for the win.
After the break, we see Iyo Sky telling the rest of Damage Control that things need to change.
Back to the ring, we have Bron Breakker against Sheamus. At ringside is Sami Zayn. A jumping clothesline from the apron from Bron knocks Sheamus over the announcer's table. But then the Great White takes the fight to Bron. White Noise getting a 2 count, then a running knee by Sheamus gets him a 2.5 count.
Yeah, close.
Sheamus then warms up the Brogue Kick, but he gets grabbed from the outside by the dastardly Ludwig Kaiser. The bell rings, ending the match. Sheamus beats up Kaiser, then Bron spears Sheamus. Breakker is then led away as Kaiser sets up Sheamus on the ring steps to do his running drop kick. Kaiser sets off on his long run up to Sheamus from the entranceway, running around the outside of the ring. Bron then runs around the other side of the ring and hits Kaiser with a thunderous spear right in front of the announcer's table.
This looked amazing, especially with the camera panning back and you actually saw what was happening and what was about to happen rather than it being zoomed in on somebody's face. You could actually see both men running around. I thought it was brilliant anyway. Zayn then taunts Bron, with Bron managing to push Zayn, but before it could get tasty, backstage hands and officials got involved. So that's another one. Between, them 4 men, Kaiser, Sheamus, Bron and Zayn, it's a different angle because you get a bit sick of seeing Zayn and Gable or the same 2 people. Let's have it. We don't need another Cena Orton from the mid-2000s for about 10 years. Same old, same old. Let's have it, mixing it up a bit more. But other than that, brilliant.
We then catch up with Dominic, still looking for his Cowvest. And he does. Liv's still wearing it and encourages Dom to take it off her if he wants it.
He does want it.
As Dom gingerly unzips the vest, Damien Priest catches them. Get your stuff and let's go. Priest yells at Dom before telling Liv to leave him alone.
After the break, we see Karrion Kross saying he wants a match with Kofi Kingston. Too many Ks there. We then see Kofi with Xavier Woods elsewhere accepting the challenge.
Final match of the night. A triple threat qualifying match for Money in the Bank. Jey Uso versus Finn Balor versus Rey Mysterio. We hear that Drew McIntyre has deactivated all his social media accounts, so you know it must be real serious. Mysterio controlled the start of the match, hitting a beautiful crossbody on Balor for a 2 count. He just seemed to hang in the air.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
A spear by Jey got a 2 count on Rey, then Mysterio went 619 mad, hitting Balor with one and then Jey before hitting them simultaneously with one. As Rey then set up to fly from the top rope, Dirty Dom attacked his dad, followed by the rest of the Judgment Day. Minus Priest, of course. Braun Strowman then came out and chases Judgment Day away. Balor then executed the coup de grace on Rey and covered him. Then, from nowhere, Jey broke the pin-up with an Uso splash. He then covered Balor and got the 3 count, and therefore proceeds to the Money in the Bank match.
Now finally, it's time for Uncle Howdy. As Jey left through the crowd, the lights went off and the silhouetted door appeared at the top of the rampway. It opened and out crawled Nikki Cross. She crawled up to a lantern and then pointed backstage. The cameraman went through the curtain and there it was, the massacre. We see a member of Uncle Howdy's gang standing with a hammer, and then as the camera goes through gorilla position, we see 2 more members. There's smoke swirling around and blood on the wall. We get a glimpse of Chad Gable, bloodied and unconscious, before we finally see Uncle Howdy in all his glory. He walks towards the entranceway with the other members following him until he's standing behind Cross, who's still on the floor at the top of the rampway. The members are all looking like horrifying versions of the puppets. Huskus the pig, Mercy the buzzard, Rambling Rabbit, and of course Abigail. Howdy then picks up the lantern, as if picking up and carrying the torch his brother left behind, and tells us we're here, before blowing out the light. As Raw goes off the air, we get an image of Nikki Cross, or should I say Abigail, flashing up. Now I thought, yeah, this was brilliant. For me, they've nailed this. They've nailed this. I think they could have done maybe a few more wrestlers beaten and bloodied.
Yeah.
Because it was all backstage hands that we think it was backstage crew. They could have had Triple H.
Yeah.
They could have had, because he's in Gorilla.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had other wrestlers there just to really show, we mean business. I think they'll turn up on SmackDown.
I hope they do.
I don't see why they shouldn't, because the QR codes were on SmackDown as well.
Yep.
So there's no reason why they won't be there. I think they could have maybe had a little bit more during Raw, like maybe some lights flicker on the odd occasion. Not just flickering, but everybody carries on. But apart from that, I think they've absolutely nailed this.
Yeah.
Just don't mess it up. Triple H, if you're watching this, don't... Shawn Michaels, my man, say hello to him. But aside from that, do not mess this up, because so far, so good. So thank you again for watching.
And we'll see you again next time.